Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan if you're new here. I was about to make a batch of raw yogurt, Greek yogurt in the crock pot, and thought it'd be fun to pull out my camera and show you guys the process of how I do this. It is so easy and hands-off, which is great, especially if you have little ones. Yeah, so I want to show you guys how I do it. I'll flip this camera around. So I'm just starting with a half gallon of raw milk in my crock pot, which by the way, isn't it so cute? I got it off Facebook Market for free, which I just feel really blessed because wow, how cute. But yeah, so I'm gonna use 5 cups of raw milk. I get this from a semi-local farm near me. The cows are grass-fed and everything is organic, and honestly, it's really affordable. This half gallon is $3. So part of why I want to make yogurt is because it saves so much money to do it on your own. I think I can pay $7 for like a really small tub of grass-fed, full-fat Greek yogurt. So this is just raw milk, and I love this because, you know, it's not been pasteurized, meaning all the beneficial bacteria, so probiotics, enzymes, things like that, they haven't been killed off in the pasteurization process. So all I'm gonna do is add 5 cups of milk to my crock pot. Okay, so the milk is in, and I'm just gonna put this on low for 2.5 hours. Okay, it has been 2.5 hours, so all I'm gonna do is turn this off, set my timer for another 3 hours, and at this point, I wanna pull out a 1/4 cup of either a previous batch of yogurt, or in this case I'm just gonna use some store-bought yogurt. This is 100% full-fat, grass-fed, plain yogurt. So I'm gonna let this sit because it's really important for the yogurt that you introduce to be at room temperature when you add it into the milk. So I'm gonna leave my yogurt out to let it come to room temperature and wait 3 more hours for my milk to cool down. Okay, it has been 3 hours. I am just going to remove the lid. There will be a really, really beautiful creamy sort of top layer on this. That's totally fine. I'm just gonna leave that in there and go ahead and add in my yogurt at room temperature. This is basically what introduces the active live cultures to then ferment this raw milk. And I'm just adding about a 1/4 cup. I'm not really being exact. I don't think it matters a whole lot, as long as you don't have less than a 1/4 cup. Okay, I'm just going to stir this in really well so that everything gets incorporated. At this point, the fermentation begins, and so I'm gonna just pop the lid back on and let this sit. I like to have this sit for about 20 hours, but really you can let this go shorter or longer than that, depending on your preferred taste of kind of how tangy you want your yogurt to be. I like mine pretty tangy, so I find about the 20-hour mark is really nice. Okay, so it has been about 20 hours, and usually that's the sweet spot. That's about how tangy I like it. You can kind of check starting at 18 hours, but this isn't even too tangy, and I think it's perfect. I know that I like it at 20 hours, so I'm not even gonna taste it really, and I'm gonna go ahead now and strain it off. Okay, so I start just with a fine sieve, and I found this works best actually just to use a Chemex filter. So it's basically a coffee filter. You could use those as well. This one is just really big, so it covers all the space I need it to. I like to give this a rinse just to get rid of that papery taste. And then I will just pour my yogurt through. So you can see it's pretty thin, so straining it will obviously make this like Greek yogurt. Something interesting is that the longer you strain it, the more lactose is gonna be strained through. So all the liquid at the bottom is the lactose content of the milk. And so people who are lactose sensitive, first off, the longer fermentation, but then also straining it a longer amount will help significantly. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this to my fridge, leave it probably overnight and maybe a few hours into the morning until it's kind of the consistency I want, and it's done. Okay, so I've left this straining for close to a day and a half, and you can see that a lot of it has strained down, and there's quite a lot of the whey liquid, which is the lactose, strained at the bottom. Typically I will see like close to 2 cups of the liquid straining out, and I checked this at some point yesterday and it really wasn't so much, and so I knew something had gone wrong and I know exactly what the problem is. So instead of making a new video where this turns out perfectly, I'm just gonna post this and you guys can learn from a mistake that can happen really easily. So I'll tell you what it was. This is nowhere near like the Greek yogurt thickness, and here's why. When I added the 1/4 cup of yogurt, I think it was too cold, and so that can happen. So you're introducing your live active cultures, and basically if it's too cold, that temperature difference can kind of shock the bacteria and it's not going to ferment as well. Like, yes, it will still ferment because there's still bacteria being introduced, but not all of it is as living as it could be. It's a very weird way to explain it. And so it's just not going to ferment the same. So I'm just going to stop it here, and I'll still use this 100% in oatmeal, smoothies, anything like that. But this is nowhere near how thick it could get. So make sure when you're pulling out your yogurt, make sure to stir it. That's something I didn't do this batch. Like, stir it up really well, kind of introduce some heat from the movement of stirring it. Just basically, you don't want it to be hot, but you just want it to be extremely room temperature so that it mixes with the raw milk really well and the fermentation can have optimal conditions. So thank you guys for watching. Happy yogurt making. I hope it goes well for you. Leave a comment about whatever, and I'll see you guys in a video very soon.